And they've been running the city snowplows now for 29 straight hours. Get that. So now you might be asking yourself, well, where's the proof? Here it is. He was planning to come back to this school. Now, keep in mind, he is armed with a .22 caliber gun at this point. Where residents, as you can see, are already putting out their trash bags for tomorrow morning's collection. And I got to tell you, if you have to mail something, now's a good time to do it because there was not much of a line at all, and you know that is only going to change in the coming days. It costs less than $3 a day to feed an inmate. That's actually less than going to McDonald's and buying 3 cheeseburgers. The driver to this Ford Escape actually just showed up seconds ago, so we're going to help her get this car out of here, and we'll see you at 6. Well, tough luck. By then, the seller will be long gone. Just imagine I have $10,000 worth of property. I sell it to someone for $1. They turn around and sell it for $1 too, and the last owner just gives it back to you. Well, that's exactly what happened with Fano, and that $10,000 was your money. Freedom. Meet Fano, the famed German Shepherd.
That's a good boy.
Fano is back. He's back at home. I could not be more overjoyed. It is quite frankly a miracle for our family to have him back.
For Sanders, Fano is more than just a pet.
You know, getting my partner back, getting him basically a family member back, and it's been very moving.
And for the city of Columbia, he came at a hefty price. Facebook fans of Fano reached out to the city, promising more than $10,000 to buy the dog. That's about how much PoliceOne.com says a trained dog costs. CPD refused, citing liability issues for selling a trained police dog to civilians.
But it almost looks as if it was, punitive on the part of the city that they just didn't want Rob to have that dog.
So Fano spent 17 months living in a Cape Girardeau kennel, costing you nearly $8,000. Sanders hoped for a homecoming.
I just, was crossing my fingers and toes and just kept hoping,
And after a year and a half of separation,
18 months and $18,000 later, he's finally back where he belongs. We're very happy about it. I think everybody is.
The expensive ordeal is over.
It was quite an emotional thing to actually have him here on the place.
A reunion with man's best friend. I obtained these documents filed today in Pettis County, and they charge that Perez went on a spree of alleged assaults beginning last Tuesday. That was 3 days before the murder, 60 miles away in Sedalia. Police allege Rudy Perez packed a week full of alleged assaults and run-ins with the law, beginning last Tuesday when he allegedly forced his way into a Sedalia home and repeatedly punched the resident. The resident required medical attention, and Perez was on his way to jail.
I know that he was arrested on suspicion of burglary and assault.
Pettis County Sheriff Kevin Bond says the rampage continued when Perez allegedly assaulted a deputy in the jail. The sheriff continues to investigate that incident. But as for the alleged break-in, the sheriff says prosecutors weren't filing charges, so after 24 hours, the jail released him, and Perez walked out these doors a free man. His story, though, is only just beginning. Around lunchtime the next day, Thursday, Perez's parents called 911. They feared for their own safety while driving their son to the local hospital.
He was assaulting Mr. Perez was assaulting his father, and so law enforcement responded out to the scene.
Victims to their own son's rage, court documents say Perez punched his father and grabbed and dragged his mother. A sheriff deputy recommended Perez serve 96 hours at the Missouri Psychiatric Center. He was eventually transferred to the VA hospital, where Columbia police say his week of assaults came to a deadly end. Kennett, Missouri resident Tina Brown knows hotels are in high demand during football season. That's why she made reservations at the Tiger Hotel in January for Missouri's homecoming football game in October.
We went online to find out when they were going to start taking reservations. We found out that they were, and so we went ahead and booked it, and I put it out of my mind.
This email confirms Brown booked one room at $149 a night for 2 nights at the Tiger Hotel. The total, after tax, $331.82. 2 months later, in March, Brown receives this email from the hotel saying, in part, the hotel had trouble processing her credit card in January. It would then be charging her card the $330 for the room. But that wasn't a problem for Brown. The real problem began in July, she says, when hotel management called her asking for more money for the room. Hotel officials say its third-party booking agency booked the rooms at the wrong rate. Brown says the hotel told her she'd now have to pay double, $600 for the weekend, or find another place to stay.
I don't hear anything until the last week of July to tell me that I'm going to have to pay double. I'm going to have to do all this. And I wasn't doing anything wrong.
I reached out to hotel management all week long, but they refused an interview. They did eventually send me a written statement saying, a recent room audit did uncover a third-party booking system error that caused one room type to be oversold. We are certain this is a very limited situation with less than 5 guests being affected. Precautionary steps have been made to ensure this does not happen again. What the statement does not answer is why the hotel would not honor the original rate it promised. The Missouri Attorney General's office says the hotel is legally bound to do that and that the confirmation is a binding legal contract. Ethically speaking, Mike O'Neill of the Better Business Bureau in Columbia says it's bad business.
Typically, consumers are told that if they sign a contract, they're held to it by the business. Well, we expect that same sort of contract to be held vice versa.
When you've made a mistake as a business, I don't care if it's Tiger Hotel or whoever, you assume that the customer's right. You don't alienate a customer, and that's what I feel like I've been, is alienated.
What began as a weekend getaway has turned into a major headache for Brown.